everyone, and welcome back to my weekly Shop My Stash. As usual, I'm going to go over the things that I used last week, and then I will pick the new things for this week. So to start things off, we did have this CoverFX face palette here. I did enjoy it. I was going to use it completely as like my contour and blush and everything, but this powder here I find pulls pretty warm on my skin, and it's a little bit darker for me right now. So this is a better shade for bronzer for me in the summertime, or even in the spring once I've been outside a little bit. But the rest of the products in here I really liked. I really like this brightener as well. It works really well just to amp up your highlighter a bit, or for an inner corner highlight, or even if you want to do the bridge of your nose without, you know, an over the top beaming highlight there, that's really nice for it. The two highlighters in here are very nice. I love this finishing powder, and I love the blush. I really like this palette in general. It's just, again, this doesn't work as a contour for me. It's a bit too warm and it's a bit too deep for me right now. Then we have the Beauty Creations Annette 69 palette. I really do enjoy this palette. I only wore it once, I think, this week. It's just a little bit bright for me for what I wanted this time of year, but the mattes blend beautifully. The glitters in this palette are actually really nice. I didn't have any fallout at all, and all around just a really nice palette. Then we have my Tarteist Remix palette. I love this palette. I wore this the most this week. I got a lot of really nice looks out of it, and just simple, easy ones. I would use this in my crease and the black to deepen it up if I wanted, and then I just popped whatever on the lid and it worked. This one works really nice to set my eye primer as well, so I really like that one. And again, just I love this palette. I love the Tarte formula for eyeshadows, so I really enjoyed using that. And then we have the Mavie Take Me to Istanbul palette. This is what the inside looks like, and the outside looks like that. I enjoy this palette. I like it better than the Take Me to Santorini palette. The mattes in here are beautiful. This color here is very beautiful, and it's pretty pigmented, but it's pretty powdery as well. This one is nice, this kind of pinky shade. The two purples, now I know purple is harder to formulate, but I'm starting, if you can see here, I had to use my finger a lot, which I don't like doing. And even with a paddle brush, it was kind of getting hard pan a little bit in it. They aren't super pigmented by any means. Let's see if I can pick some up on my finger. If you can see there, they're not super pigmented, but they are buildable, and it made a really pretty look. It was more than just a wash of color. But yeah, I like the palette. I have a hard time a bit with the color story, just because the two palettes I have a lot of those orangey colors in it for the mattes, and yeah, I mean, that's what they put in it. That's fine. The mattes are beautiful. It's just, I wish the shimmers packed a little bit more of a punch than what they do. But it's a pretty palette. It was workable. I enjoyed it more than the Santorini palette that I have. Now I have this Laqa cream blush highlighter type of thing here. I am going to get rid of this one. I'm not a fan of cream products, and this one in particular isn't worth me keeping just because it picked up my foundation when I wore it and it just didn't look nice on my skin. So this will be decluttered. Then we have the Nars Orgasm Blush with Hot Sand Highlighter. I honestly don't understand the big deal about this blush. I have a really hard time getting pigment onto my brush with it. I'm not sure if it's because it's in the mini. I've heard a few other people mention that. I like the color. I just have a hard time getting the product actually to go onto my skin. But other than that, the highlighter in here, Hot Sand, is really pretty. I really like that highlighter. Then we have the Pretty Vulgar blush in, what was this again? Hush Blush. Beautiful blush, neutral. I loved it. This Becca blush, it is so bright. It is in, what is it called again? Lantana. And I was scared actually to wear it, but I'm wearing it right now, and I have to say, I like it. I had to use a dual fiber brush. I had to top it off. I had to go in with a super light hand, but I was able to get it to blend out on my cheeks where it looks really nice. I like the flush that I kind of have going with it. I have to say this is very specific to kind of what you're wearing. It doesn't pull pink by any means. It looks sort of red on the cheeks, but not like a burn red. So I think you'd have to be careful with what you're pairing it with. But it's fun, so I think I'm going to keep it. Even though I already have something that's very similar to it, I'm just going to keep it. I have this Ciate London blush. This is in what? Matchmaker? Yes. Loved this. It was beautiful, or is beautiful. And I also have this Dirty Little Secret blush in Belissima, or highlighter. And this one, I was mentioning last week, it does not, it looks like pretty peach or pink in the pan, but it doesn't come across that way at all when you put it on your skin. So that's it on my finger. Let's see if I can swatch it without, here, hold on. And that's it swatched on my hand. It does not look that deep by any means. I think if you have a fair skin tone, it might come across a little bit more pigmented, but for my skin tone, it pretty much comes across as that pretty sheen. So I really do like that. It's a very unique highlighter to my collection. Another unique highlighter I have is this Becca one. It is Prismatic Amethyst, that is the word, and I actually got this at Winners, which is similar to a Marshall's type of store. I think I got it for $10 or something like that, and it's a full-size Becca blush, so I wasn't mad that I found it, and it's really pretty. I love the Becca formula, so I was really excited when I found it, and I'm happy to be using it. Then we have one of my, if not my favorite bronzer. This is by the I Heart Revolution line, and it is the Chocolate Heart bronzer. It's just really beautiful on my skin this time of year. In the summertime, it doesn't work for me, but definitely this time of year when I have absolutely no tan anymore, this is what I'm pulling and enjoying the most. I also had this Wet n Wild powder. I really do like this powder, and no sense swatching it or anything. It's a powder, and it is tinted, so it is in the shade. Which one do I have? Where does it say it? Does it say it on the front? Oh, it says it on the front. It is in the shade Natural Buff. I also had a concealer. It was a Catrice one, and I do like it. I'm just not going to pick concealers anymore just because some of them are really light, so I'm finding I'm having to double them up with a deeper one to make them work. So it's just not worth pulling it for me. I just kind of pull them as I need it, and depending on, you know, what my under eyes are looking like and that sort of thing. So that's everything that I used this past week, and now I'm going to pick the new items for this coming week. Okay, if you are new here, how I do my Shop My Stashes is I pick everything randomly except for my eyeshadow palettes, and for my eyeshadow palettes, every palette I have is numbered. Let's see, just like that, and I have them all written down. So every week I use random number generator and I pick 3 palettes, but I don't reuse a palette if I've already used it. I want to go through my entire collection at least once before I reuse a palette again. So that just kind of takes the guesswork out of it for me. It picks the new ones, and if I come across a number that I've already used, then I go on to another number. So sometimes I might be going through like 5 or 6 numbers before I get to 3, but that is what I am doing. So sometimes I forget to mention it, but this week, now you're informed. Now you will know. Okay, so I already picked the 3 palettes, and the first one that came up was number 96, and it's this Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions palette. Okay, so the next number that came up was, oh dear, what was it? Oh, it was this one. The Blinc palette, and it was number 6. And then the last one that came up was this Ccolor Cosmetics one. This was number 109, and this is the Tropical palette. So for face palettes this week, I am going to be using the Cheekleaders Bronze Squad palette. So that's got a bronzer, highlight, and blush in it. So that's got more of the neutral and the peachy blush in it. I think I'm going to pick this Hourglass blush. This is in Luminous Flush, so we'll use this one this week as well. So we have blushes, and then for highlights, the one that's in there is more of a champagne-y kind of peach color, so we will do something that's a little bit different. I think we'll try this Revolution Beauty one. This is in the shade Platinum. If it's going to work any time of the year for me, that would be right now. And what other one? We'll pick one more just to be, you know what, we'll do this Revolution Beauty one. This is in the Make an Impact shade. And then I'm also going to pick another cream highlighter. I really actually like these. I've used these plenty of times. This is by Temptu, and it's just their Liquid Glows. So this is one that I will use this week. Blush. Blush. I think we're good. Oh, I have a bronzer. Okay. Then for powders this week, I think I might use this one as my face powder and my contour. And then for a finishing powder, move that out of the way. Then for a finishing powder, what am I going to use? Okay, so I think I'll use the NYX No Filter for my finishing powder this week because I just want to keep working on this one. And I think that was everything I needed to pick for my Shop My Stash. Okay, so this is what everything looks like. This is the Blinc eyeshadow palette, the Electric Eyes. It is all shimmer, so that is what that looks like. But I think it'll pair well with this tropical palette because we have all these nice mattes here that kind of look like they'll work nicely with it. So I think that'll be a nice companion palette. This is the Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions palette. I guess some of the mattes would go well with this as well, but I'm more prone to just use the mattes in the palette anyway because I like more of a monochrome colored look. This is the Benefit Cheek Parade palette. It does have the Cookie highlighter in there as well as Coralista and Gold Rush and the two different Hoola bronzers. We have Luminous Flush by Hourglass. This is the Platinum highlighter and the, what was it called again? Make an Impact highlighter. Again, this one is similar, I guess, to that Dirty Little Secrets one in that it looks a lot deeper in the pan than what it's going to come across on the face. It definitely isn't that deep. I'm not sure if you can even see it. There's a little flush of kind of peachy there on my knuckle a little bit. That's what that is. And then we have the powder and the contour and the finishing powder and a cream product. So yeah, I mean, I took the concealer out, but I think everything else I have there that I'm supposed to, because this has a lot of things in it that normally would be separate. And two of the palettes are fairly small, so it looks a lot less than normal. But yes, I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I do this all the time. And that is everything I'm using for my Shop My Stash this week. Let me know in the comments below if you do Shop My Stash and what you're using. Or do you have any of these items and do you enjoy them? What are your thoughts on what I have picked for this coming week? Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.